All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Welcome to the New York Real Estate Investors Association. If you're tuning in early, say what's up in the comment section. Want to do some networking with you guys before we get this event started. We will get started here within the next 10 minutes. We're still waiting on one of our final speakers to join us. We were discussing some pretty deep stuff in the back. Matt's been working on a lot, right? So, Ayumi, I asked Matt this question earlier, but the question was, have you guys bought anything? Have you guys bought anything crazy recently, or have you guys bought anything recently at all?
So I haven't, partly because I changed some strategy,
right,
overall, and then also when COVID hit, I was kind of watching the market to see where it goes. So
yeah, being patient, right?
Yeah. So I'm looking to buy.
I agree with that. Alexander, what's up? Alexander says, "What's up, people?" What's up, Alexander? How are you, brother? And Matt, you want to reflect on some of your recent purchases and stuff you're working on real quick?
Yeah, I guess right now I'm in the middle of selling 5 different deals. So that's kind of taken up a lot of time. I got 2 properties in Newark that I'm selling, and I got 3 properties in Philly that I'm selling. Then I got 2 renovations I'm doing right now, one in Newark, one in Bayonne, New Jersey. Doing some property management for people, so that's keeping me busy. Raised some money this week for turnkey deals. I was telling Elijah about that. I'm having someone starting to work for me on Monday, so I've been a little busy.
Dang, my man, staying hustling. All right, my final guest is here, Chris. Let me bring in Chris. Yo, Chris, how are you?
Good. How's it going?
Good, man. I think you got the best mic any of us could have because your voice sounds so pure, brother. What is that, man?
It's just all natural voice. It's not the mic.
I like it. How are you, man? You so where's everybody tuning in from? Matt, where are you watching from, or where are you joining us from?
The home office, now the permanent office since COVID.
That's right. And you're in Staten Island, right?
Staten Island, yep.
New York, baby. Ayumi, where are you watching from?
Brooklyn, New York.
Hey, shout out Brooklyn in the house. And Chris, this is our first time, I think, ever communicating. Excited to be on here with you.
Yeah. So I'm out of Long Island. I was living in Brooklyn before this, but I've been out here for almost 5 months now.
Oh wow! You like which one? Which one you like better?
It's tough. It's nice in the summer being out east. A little bit more space, right by the beach, stuff like that. But right. I do miss living in Brooklyn, like walking around, like the buildings, like the lifestyle. So
100%. What do they call it? An experience, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I like it, man. All right, who we got here? So just so you guys know, we're gonna be going started live in a few minutes here. Or we're already live, but we're gonna get the show started here in a few minutes. Sean says, Mahir, what's up, bro?
Yo, what's going on?
Give a shout out to Sean. Sean in the building.
He's good people.
Sean's good people.
Good things about him.
Sean's smiling from ear to ear right now. I can already vision it,
He's true. It's true, though. I only hear good things about him.
Hey, so real quick, because I'm going to be kind of guiding us here today, but Mahir, what is the asset classes that you're kind of focused on right now when it comes to purchasing cash flow?
I feel like 3 to 4 families kind of my space right now. I keep talking about I want to do something bigger, like apartment complex or anything, but I have put 0 effort into it. So I stick with the 3 to 4 families. That's really what I know, and I can walk in and out of those properties, and I know exactly what they're going to rent for. I know the renovation. I know what they're going to ARV for, and all that stuff. So that's kind of my target.
Got it. And Ayumi?
Yeah. So me in the long term, I want to do apartment buildings, but right now I'm focusing on single families and maybe duplexes, like small residential properties.
And you're investing out of state, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
You want to give a shout out to the city?
Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay, Cleveland. Cleveland. And Chris, what's the assets that you're focused on?
Yeah, so at Toro, we focus on like 80 to 300 unit properties in the Southeast and Midwest. I'm actually personally looking for like a 10 to 40 unit down in Jacksonville, Florida right now, but just for myself, so not through work.
Are you gonna go save one of the units for yourself in Florida?
No,
it's purely investment, right?
Yeah. No, I'm right now. I have a manager lined up to handle it, so it would just be an investment property.
That's freaking awesome, man. So you'll be talking a lot today about kind of the bigger deals in terms of the apartment complexes. And Ayumi can hit on the single family market out of state. And Mahir Allan, in your own backyard, Newark, Jersey City areas, the multifamilies and how they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Does that sound good for you guys?
Sure.
All right, we got a few people tuned in here already. We are actually, you guys are gonna kick my no. Let me not use the bathroom. I'm gonna hold it for an hour and a half. Should have went earlier. Lesson learned.
I missed out on dinner because of that. So
yeah. Wait, you didn't have dinner yet?
No. You didn't see my mom walk in and ask me if I wanted dinner?
That was your mom? I thought that was your She's young, bro. She's young. Mama is a stallion. I love it.
Yeah.
Yvette's in the building. She says, hey, good people. Glad to see everyone is doing well. Yvette, we appreciate you. Energy is phenomenal, as always. Yo, Chris, so how did you and Nick meet?
How did I meet Nick? I think we just messaged back and forth a couple of times. I don't think I've met him in person yet.
Right.
It's very possible we have. We were doing a meetup in Westbury for like 3.5 years. That we kind of, a few months before COVID, we had stopped doing it. We didn't do it a lot around the holidays. So I think, what was it, like October of 2019 was probably the last one we've done.
Yeah.
So we hadn't done it for several months. I might have met him there once or twice, but mostly just messaging.
I get it, man. Social media is like the new place to network,
100%, yeah.
This guy's not going to answer when I need him most,
That's how it works.
You love when life plays out like that.
What you got to do is you got to ask a question to everybody, then turn off your camera, run to the bathroom, and then that's it. You come back, you don't miss anything.
Listen, there's one responsibility as the host, and I just can't leave the ship. If the ship's going down, I'm going down with it. It's just the name of the game. All right. It's my responsibility to be here. We're gonna have a rock star show. It's gonna be fun. But I really do need to figure out this date, so I'll be back in 60 seconds.
Okay. Should I answer my emails or trying to think what to do? I have some emails to get to.
It's all good.
Yeah. What is he figuring out?
No idea.
All right, we back. Let's get this show started.
All right. I didn't get to do anything.
How's everyone feeling?
Good.
I feel the same as 30 seconds ago.
Which is?
Just as fun, just as good as I was 30 seconds
There we go. 3 good. That's all I needed to hear. I'm excited. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. This is the New York Real Estate Investors Association. Today's topic is all about cash flow. Let me ask you a question real quick, okay? I want you to put it in the comment section right now and let me know if you've ever heard this statement. Cash flow is king. Put it in the comment section right now. Let me get the yes or no. Let me know if you've ever heard that statement before. And if you're fired up for tonight's event, put it in the comment section as well, baby, because we are going to have an awesome time. Listen, we have 3 rock stars on here with me. All 3 of these, actually 2 out of the 3, I know personally. Chris, man, we're building the personal relationship now. Okay.
Oh, so excited to be here.
I'm excited to have all you guys. I'm going to get into introductions of these guys here in a second. But first, I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about our club. This is the New York Real Estate Investors Association. And this club specifically is the largest real estate meetup group in the entire country. Okay, my partner Nick Pang, he's been doing these events for 12 plus years. We literally do these events every single month, and we have one of the biggest communities across all of Meetup when it comes to real estate. So we're excited. We're bringing you guys local people who are buying properties all across the United States, and more specifically, even people who are buying in our own backyard. So we're excited to dive in, and we're excited to learn from them. Let's see. My man Damien's in the house. He said he's heard that statement. Yes, with an exclamation mark. Francisco, what's up, baby? Yes, sir. And Joey Chan's in the building. What's up, rock stars? What up, Joey? So real quick, okay, so this is the New York Real Estate Investor Association. I do want to let all you guys know, okay, so we do these events a lot. We have much bigger events as well, such as expos. We have these smaller events, and then we even have our own private events for our Prime members. And so if you don't know what that is, our Prime member organization is basically, it's our private group where we have, let me re-say that, sorry. We have our Prime membership, okay? So if you're first time tuning in here today, I want to let you guys know that we are a Prime membership-based group, which means that for only $97, you can have access to all of our events, which gives you access to our fix and flip, wholesale, buy and hold. We do short sales, pre-foreclosures. We literally have every event recorded, and we also do these live events. So if you're serious about being in the real estate space, you're definitely going to want to sign up for the membership. Nick will be sending you guys an email at the end to give you guys more information over that. But for tonight, we're going to be diving into cash flow. And as I said, we have 3 amazing people that are going to kind of help guide us through today's event. And so one more final note that I have to say is this. We're going to be doing giveaways throughout this live event. Okay, so make sure you guys are paying attention. Make sure you guys are using the comment section, because that's how we're going to select the winners for the free giveaways. And the value of the giveaways is easily over $1,000 that we're going to be giving away today. So it's going to be really fun and really exciting. So real quick, okay, because I want to make sure that you guys are active. I want to make sure you guys are engaged. I want to make sure you guys are learning. Okay, this comment section that we have over here, this is how we network. This is how we communicate with each other. This is how I make sure that you guys are getting your questions answered. So right now, what I want you to do is I want you to put it in the comment section and let me know what city or what neighborhood, okay, because I know there's New York City, but then we got my Brooklyn, Bronx, right? Let me know what neighborhood you're tuning in from, okay? Put your city, say what's up, put it in the comment section now so we can pin a few of these up. And there's a slight lag time. What's up, Bobby? All right, here we go. So we got Alexander from Brooklyn. What's up, Ethan? What's up, Evan? Oh, man. All right, Alicia, she says, hello, everyone. Put it in the comment section. Let us know where you guys are tuning in. Angels from Jersey. We got Brent from Brooklyn. Hey, what is that, man? Come on. And Francesco. Everyone get a screenshot of this, put it everywhere. All right. So with that being said, all right, Ethan, thank you. Gentlemen, I appreciate you guys. You guys are rock stars, okay? I got to finish this, so we'll see you soon. All right. So, yeah, those are Nick's kids, by the way. So everyone say what's up to Nick's kids. Good guys, for
Uncle
sure.
Eli.
What's up?
Uncle Eli in the house.
Yeah, Uncle Eli, for sure. We got a lot going on right now. But with that being said, we're going to be doing the giveaways, okay? And appreciate you, bro. So we're going to be doing the giveaways, and we're also going to be getting your guys' questions answered. So you guys are tuning in the comment section. Thank you so much for that. So let's get into introductions here, because today's topic is cash flow. So up first, let's welcome to the stage Mr. Mahir Allan. Matt, you've been a great friend of mine. We've known each other. We've done deals together over the past 2.5, 3 years. Me knowing your story and your journey has been absolutely inspirational. I'm excited to hear from you tonight. I know you're a cash flow wizard, so please give our audience a brief 60-second introduction. Let us know who you are.
Okay, I'll try to be quick. So I got started in retail banking, hated retail banking, quit, started working for a hedge fund. That hedge fund was buying non-performing mortgages, learned that business, left that business, raised like $15 million for the note business. Then that business started to turn the other way because the real estate market was turning up. That was like 2016 is when I bought my first deal. December 2016, I bought a 3-family and a 2-family in the same month. Since then, I got about 60 units. I got like 15, 16 units in Philly. I have, 50 or so in Newark, Irvington, Bayonne, New Jersey. And primary thing that I like is the cash flow because you set it up, you maintain it, and it continues to pay you every month. So that's always been what I've been after. And now the market's kind of hot. I've been doing a lot of flips, so I've probably done like 10 flips or so in the last 2 years, year and a half.
Boom. We're excited to have you, man. Excited to hear your stories about investing in Philly from New York area and as well as, investing in your own backyard. So thank you for that intro. Up next, we got Ayumi. Shout out to the lady bosses. Listen, if there are any ladies in here that have an excuse about why you're not investing because you think that you can't do it, Ayumi's going to let you know exactly why you can. Ayumi, how are you tonight?
Hi,
Yes.
thank you for having me. I'm Ayumi Edgar. I started investing in 2018, 2 years ago. I have 2 rental properties in Cleveland, Ohio, one single family and one duplex. And I'm not a type of investor who's buying like 100 units per year or so, but I make sure that I educate myself and execute. So still newer investor and learning. So hopefully I can share what I learned and what worked for me, what didn't work for me, so that other newer investor can also do deals.
I love it. We're excited to dive into your 2 deals and then also what you kind of expect to happen, over the next 6 months to a year in the real estate market. So thank you for that intro. And last but not least, we got my man with the purest voice I think I've ever heard in my life. All right. We got my man, Chris from Toro Real Estate Partners. Chris, first time interacting. I'm excited to be here with you, man. Please give our audience a brief introduction.
Yeah. What's up, guys? Pumped to be here. I'll be sure to send you the mic. I'll get you one so you can sound good too. We'll see if it's just the voice or the mic. But yeah, I got started like 4.5 years ago. I'm Long Island born and raised. I'm from Smithtown. I went to Hofstra University. I did 1 year outside. I did coaching for a year up in Mass. Then came back. I was a stockbroker for a year. Really just hated that. But got into flipping in like January 2016 with my mom, and my cousin. And we tried flipping on Long Island and just completely failed for 7-8 months. Never flipped a home, never bought one, just spent a ton of time and money, nights and weekends doing it. Eventually looked at buying tax deeds down in Philly, but I kind of got saddled with the brunt of the work. So we were like, no, it's just not going to fit for us. So ended up networking, meeting someone that was doing some small multifamily stuff, John Cohen. He's at Toro as well. We invested passively in a deal first. Then we joint ventured on another 100 units in syndication. So we did a couple deals up in Covington, Kentucky, which is right by Cincinnati. We did a deal down in Jacksonville, Florida. And then eventually I quit my full-time job as a stockbroker because I was done. I hated it, didn't align with my morals and values, and joined Toro. And we focus on larger scale apartment complexes. So anything from 80 to 500 units. We've done, anywhere from $5 million to $50 million worth of properties. And we do them in the Southeast and the Midwest. So Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, the Carolinas, Tennessee, Ohio. We've been all over there. So we're almost exclusively out of state. We've dabbled in state in the tri-state area, but for the most part, we're out of state.
For anyone who doesn't know, what exactly is Toro? Is it like an investment group? Like what exactly is it? Yeah,
so we're a multifamily focused investment company. So we buy existing multifamily properties, typically built in the 1960s to the 1980s. We buy them old, we fix them up, we raise rents, we stabilize them, and then eventually we sell. And we raise money from investors and operate it on their behalf. So like if it was a $10 million property, our typical thing is we'll get like a $7 million loan, and then we'll have $3 million in equity. We'll probably invest anywhere from 300 to $1 million, and then the rest we raise from investors.
I love it. Yeah, you guys definitely got a nice operation put together. So thank you for that intro, Chris. Yep. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, this topic tonight is very important because I feel like everyone, when they get into real estate, right, whether they have no money or they have a little bit of money, it seems like everybody always wants to end up at one thing, which is passive income or cash flow.
Hmm.
And so this topic is very important because, some people, I remember when I first got started, the belief is that, you can't start there. Maybe you can, or maybe you need money, or maybe you need this and that. We are literally about to dive in and figure out what it takes to be able to really have, whether it's your first building and you want to buy your first building, or maybe you're trying to, secure a bigger apartment building. Chris and, Mahir, they'll be speaking on that. So we're going to dive in. We're going to get this bad boy started. I would like to start off with Ayumi. And I know that, there's a lot of new people on here. We have literally over 40, 50 viewers at the moment. So we're off to a great start. But the first building, your first building was out of state. Is that correct? So can you tell me about that process of, how you found this deal, why you chose to invest out of state, and why did you choose to buy the property after you reviewed everything? Like what about the deal made sense for you?
Okay, so 4 years ago, I hated my job with passion. And it got to the point where I got literally sick from the stress, and I was pretty burnt out. But I noticed that I still couldn't quit because I had bills to pay, and also, I didn't have much savings, and if I don't have income, then I have to figure out where to live and all that. And then it's just bigger than, having a job. Like I grew up in Japan. I was born and raised in Japan, and then moving to the U.S. and then make a living here was one of my biggest goals. And I spent 10 years working my ass off to make the dream come true. So if I don't have income, I don't have anywhere to stay, then I would have to go back to Japan after 10 years of all the effort. And then there was no way I would have given up what I achieved. So and then at that time, my friends were starting to invest in real estate, and then I started reading books, and I was like, oh my God, is it really possible? And then I have the books that I read that really inspired me. So this one, Emerging Real Estate.
Nice.
Yeah, David Lindell. I know you guys have an interview. And another one, Multi-Family Millions.
Hey.
So long story short, I read it and then learned how to identify market. So I did the research and decided to focus on Columbus, Ohio at first because it looked like the growth opportunity was huge there. So I was watching the market and then try to make offers for a couple of months. But I noticed that the market was already competitive, too competitive for me to enter. Like, some property will come on market and it's gone within a few hours. And so I was like, okay, maybe I should revisit my strategy. And then somebody that I knew started to invest in Cleveland. So I looked at that, and then I noticed that the cash flow was good, and also the price point was very low. And at the time, I didn't know all the creative financing options. I didn't know that I could buy property with no money, little money. So all I was thinking was that what I can afford. I thought I had to save up 20% or 25% for the conventional loan. So because of all of that, I started looking up Cleveland market, and then I made a couple of offers, failed, and then eventually offer got accepted and bought the first property, which was duplex.
Oh wow! So your first property was a duplex.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the price point like in Cleveland, or what is the price point like?
So it's kind of crazy, but at the time, somebody that I know was saying that, oh, Cleveland, you can buy property for $20,000, $20,000, $30,000, da da da. So that was something that I was expecting, and then so when I met with people in Cleveland, I was like, oh, okay, I'm looking for property for that are like 20,000, 30,000, maybe 40,000. What's the market? And then I noticed that, that would put me in a war zone, and which I didn't want to do. So I raised the budget little by little and then see like what comes on the market. And then eventually, I was eventually looking at somewhere between like 60 to 80,000 for a duplex.
Nice. That's a good price for a two-family building for sure, especially in an up-and-coming area.
Yeah, it's not that bad in the pockets that I was buying. Actually, I overpaid, which was one of the lessons that I learned. But
so I'm curious because it's like, as a new investor, especially from Brooklyn, and you're looking out of state, what were some of the risks or challenges that you faced when it came to, buying this duplex?
As I mentioned, I don't do like a bunch of deals all the time. So, it's still a challenge to go there, and then I don't, I was new, and then, I wasn't the investor who was like, I don't have to see the property, somebody can see and then buy it. I was just new and scared. So I had to make sure that I go and look at it and work the property with the inspector, and it could get pretty costly. And especially if I have a very small portfolio, like all the travel expenses, that's going to kill the profit. So, and then also, I can't just go there quickly when something comes up. So,
Right.
And I don't drive. Well, I didn't drive at the time. I didn't even have a license. I recently got it, but I'm still too scared to drive 8 hours there. So
Yeah,
it's a challenge having to travel there.
Yeah, those challenges are like, because it's like in a way, and Matt will be able to speak on this big time, but it's like if a problem comes up, in essence, you want to be able to go there and fix it, but for you, that really wasn't an option, especially if you had to fly to Ohio. So, when those problems did come up, like how did you address those, especially for the first property?
So I have a property manager that I trust, so they take care of it. But it's more like a learning experience for me, so they can handle it. But at this stage of my investing career, it's more important for me to actually, go see the property or walk through the property with the inspector or contractor to learn from it than making chunk of profit, at least for me. So,
Right. So for you, you're in essence building your experience, and even if that meant you paid a little bit more, you didn't care because you could learn now. This way, you don't have to make those mistakes later. Is that correct?
Yep.
I love that. That's great. Now, this building that you bought, the two-family, was it already occupied? Was it vacant? What was the status of it?
Yes, it was occupied. Again, I was so scared of vacancy, so I wanted to make sure that the property is occupied more than 50%.
Got it. And then your property manager, I know you said that you had a good one. So how did you find this property manager, especially for your first deal?
So I got some referral from other investors in the realtor, but I also read the book. I think it was written, I forgot which one, maybe both. But he talked about how to screen like property managers.
Got it.
So I created like a question, like a Q&A sheet, and then interviewed property manager based off the.
Would you be able to give us like one or two of the questions that you asked them?
So one of the questions was like, do you guys actually own? Actually, one of my questions is one of the questions was so like you're gonna have to see if they are specialized in certain area and a certain asset class. So people might say, "Oh, that's a good property manager," but that doesn't necessarily mean that they are good at handling certain type of tenant or area. So the book, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a really good question.
Very, very good question. It's very easy to be a property manager in the A market. Very easy. The checks come in. The people don't break anything. Everyone can be. That's why they charge so low, right? But if they don't actually, but they have property management. I got thousands of units under my belt, but you don't have it in this market, in the C market, where there's different demographic and different type of people you have to deal with. And if you don't actually own,
that's very true.
Also a big difference.
All right, guys, we're going to be doing our first giveaway. Okay, this is the first giveaway for the New York Real Estate Investors Association. So in the comment section, all you have to do to get the giveaway is answer this question. But first, what do you get? You're going to get access to our expo. Okay, we're going to give a free ticket to our expo that is taking place on February 20th in New York City. Okay, I'm going to have a lot more details and all that stuff for you. We still haven't even marketed it for it, so you're literally getting the first ticket, all right? This expo gets over 500 to 1,000 people that show up to it. It's a big party. All the local real estate investors will be there, but we're giving away our first expo ticket right now, and you just have to answer this simple question. So the first person to answer this in the comment section is going to get this free expo ticket. The question is what city did Ayumi choose to invest in when she first got started with her first duplex? What city did she choose to invest in? All right, let's see who gets it first. Come on, come on. There's like a 5-second lag time, you know? So wait, yeah, okay, there it is. Cleveland, Ohio. Is that right? All right, Joey Chan, you won. Joey, I don't know if I can give it to you, dude.
Thank you, Joey.
By the way, Joey's like my best friend, just so you guys know. I'm going to give it to someone else, Joey. You don't
Inside job. You texted him.
I'm giving it to Alex. Alex Ang, shoot me a message on Facebook. I'll be sure to send you the free link to the free expo ticket. Cleveland, Ohio is the correct answer. By the way, guys, if you guys got any value so far, make sure you hit like and share, all right? All right, so one of my big takeaways is really I really admired how you would pick up a book, right? Because information can come from 1,000 different places. But for you, you picked up a book and you literally you dropped your ego, you read the book and you're like, okay, this is what the book is telling me to do. So let me execute this. And you already hit on one really awesome question to ask the property manager, which in the cash flow business, that is critical, is to have a good property manager or if you're going to self-manage. And so just because you got that from a book, how much did the book cost? Like $5, $10, $15?
Yeah, something like that.
Exactly. And so I think that that's an awesome thing for anyone that, anyone can be able to do that. So thank you for sharing that. Let's go up to Mahir. Mahir, I know you've been investing now for a minute, but talk to me about, that first kind of those first 2-3 families that you bought in the Irvington neighborhoods.
Yeah. So turns out I bought the worst block in Irvington on 21st Street. I had no idea. I just seen a price tag. I was like $50,000 on a 3-family. Looked like it was in decent condition. And this thing is going to cash flow. It's $50,000 house, right? So then I put in my offer. I put 55,000. And then the realtor said, "Oh, highest and best is due by Friday." And I was like, wow, there must be a lot of competition for this house. So I bid 70. There was probably nobody bidding on the house. So I went up to 70, which was way too high. All right. The repairs ended up costing me like $85,000. It was the contractor's first job as a contractor. So it's basically like I just hired Elijah to do a 3-family. So we're both just figuring it out on the fly. We don't know what cabinets to get. We don't know what to paint the walls. We don't know what kind of boilers we're supposed to get. So we're just, and by the way, I got hard money on the deal. They charged me 5 points and 12%.
Oh.
So that's what you get for a first deal. I had to talk with the owner of the company to get him to write me the loan. So whatever, we get the loan, get the deal done. Took 11 months to renovate the house. Got it refinanced in the last month. So that was crazy.
What did it refi for?
It appraised for 180, so I still had money stuck in the deal.
That's not bad though.
It eventually refied. I just refied as a part of a portfolio. It ended up being 280. So it definitely appreciated. So I guess it wasn't lost money, but it definitely sucked at the beginning, especially when I didn't have that much money. The second deal, the second three family I got was also in Irvington. I got it like 4 months later. I bought it for 85,000. That one I didn't jump and overbid myself. It was 85,000. It was occupied on the first floor and the third floor. And when I tell you the backyard was filled with garbage, it was like a dump. Like you couldn't see the ground. There was so much garbage in the backyard. So the second floor happened to be like pristine, like nothing wrong with it. The third floor tenant was already paying rent, so I'm like, I just gotta get rid of the person on the first floor. So I convinced the person that they convinced me that it was the owner neglect that caused all this problem. And I believed it, of course. It's like, all right. So I'm like, listen, I got a brand new house. Go to my other house. I didn't want anyone to break into that one while it was vacant and fully renovated. So they go and they take the second floor at the house I just renovated on 21st Street. I get the contractor. They renovate the first floor. They basically scrape up the entire backyard to pick up all the garbage. And then I'm noticing the same problem at 21st Street. There's garbage on the floor. They poured oil out the front window. They're breaking stuff. There's nobody there, and they're blaming up this. There wasn't them, but there's nobody there except for that house. It's a 3-family house on the second floor. So I convinced them to leave. I renovate the other place, and then Elijah actually helps me rent out the first and third floor at 21st Street. I got the first floor rented out at and second floor at 16th Ave. So I had 5 of the units filled at that point. It was a little crazy.
Yeah, those are good times.
Yeah, it was fun.
So go ahead.
I was gonna say it was just like from not understanding like what one contractor literally had no experience being a contractor in the other house, dealing with that type of tenant. It was a good experience to start with. And overbidding by 20,000. It's a good start too.
Really good start. I mean, some people can be wiped out from that though.
Well, I don't give up. There was no getting wiped out. It's not happening.
Yeah, it wasn't an option, huh?
No, it's not an option.
I love that. So, Ayumi, your property in Cleveland, that was do you have cash tenants in there? Do you have cash tenants in your property in Cleveland? Like, does she have a W-2 job, or is she like Section 8?
So yeah, they have vouchers. One tenant is a market rate, but the other two, they have voucher like Section 8 from the local.
Great. And so Mahir, you're buying in Irvington. What kind of tenants were you working with in Irvington? Like in terms of like income wise?
Section 8, because they pay above market rate.
By how? Like by a lot? By a little bit?
By a decent amount, yeah. So it's like $100 to $200 difference sometimes.
Okay, and so
and you're getting probably 80 to 90% of the money you're getting from Section 8. Like just to give you guys an idea, like we had the whole pandemic, right? I didn't have to worry about my mortgage. My mortgage was paid. You know, of course there was a couple portions that were missed or a couple late payments from other cash tenants, but my mortgage was paid at the end of the day. I had nothing to worry about.
Yeah, that's great. And so these first properties, right? So you're investing in essence a low income neighborhood. You're working with contractors that they have no idea what they're doing. You also have no idea what you're doing.
Worked with better people since then.
Yeah, the beginning, the beginning is where all the gold is. So, and you had no idea what you were doing. And so, like, how did you eventually pull it off?
How did I pull it off? I don't know. I kept yelling at people, I think. I don't know. That contractor, I whipped him into shape because now he's pretty good.
Right.
That first guy. He was actually renovating 2 of my houses at the same time.
Yeah.
And he had the same problem at both houses, that he didn't know anything about plumbing and electric. So he hired some guy to do the plumbing at both houses. And the guys wouldn't show up to work or whatever. And he didn't know how to explain that to me, right? Because he hired them.
Right. So
he kept trying to cover for them, which made it his bed worse, basically. I don't know. I started making calls. I started calling PSE&G. I started calling the city. I started calling other people going to events and asking questions, and then bringing that back and say, well, this is the way it's supposed to be, like YouTube videos, whatever. I just like completely invested into it until I figured it out.
Yeah, man, I think that's a huge key point there, because like even if you get hit in the mouth, it's like, you know, keep going in a way, right?
Yeah, there's no retreat.
I love that. And just for anyone who is kind of tuning in, because when you first found these properties, were you working with realtors? Were you working with like how did you find these properties in the beginning?
Yeah, the first deals were found off the MLS.
What is that? What is that for anyone who doesn't know?
What's that?
What is that for anyone who doesn't know?
That's where realtors will list deals. It's the multiple listing service, right? That's where realtors are going to put their deals so other realtors can find it and you can show buyers or whatever. The deals were just sitting there on the market because everything was on the way up. Newark and everything was on the way up, but nobody knew it yet. A year later, those same houses I thought I overpaid for were now I got a great deal on them.
Right.
You sold me a deal on 18th Street. We bought it for like 95 or 100 after we negotiated like 70,000 down. You can't negotiate 70,000 down anymore. And that house in that condition would have sold for 195 right now. And we bought it for 95. So
yeah. Time there for sure.
A couple of years.
All right, that's great. Thank you for that intro, Mahir. Wait, one last thing for you, Mahir. You said hard money. What exactly is hard money? And the 5 points and 12%?
Yeah.
How did that not like put you in the hole already, you know?
Because the cash flow was going to save me. That cash flow on like $130,000 mortgage, I had $4,500 coming in. So yeah, I took a hit on the beginning, but I made it back up on the cash flow because I was clearing $2,000 a month or something on that house once it was fully rented. So hard money is just short-term financing. It's usually a year or less. The rates are a little bit higher. They'd be like 9 to 12%. They charge you, a normal person will charge you between 2 and 4 points, maybe based on your experience. In this case, I was working with a broker who referred me over to the lender. So the broker got points, the lender got points. Everyone made money on me. It was good for everybody.
That's great. And I mean, but you still use hard money to this day, right?
Yes, but I get a lot better rates.
Well, we're going to be diving into that here shortly. So thank you for that intro, Mahir.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go to Chris. So Chris, talk to me about kind of one of your guys' first deal. Now, was Toro already doing deals before you kind of joined with them?
Yeah, so when I started, the first deal I got involved with was as a passive investor in a small deal on the side. So John and his partner were like doing 1 or 2 deals before they formed Toro. And so John was still doing smaller stuff on the side. So we did an 8 unit in Kentucky right by Cincinnati. Then we did, joint ventured on another 17 units there across 3 properties. So it was like a 9 unit, a 6 unit, and a duplex, I think. And then we did a 82 unit down in Jacksonville, Florida. Those are the only ones that I've done outside of Toro. Everything else has been, with Toro, but it was, focus on larger properties and stuff.
I love it. So, I mean, I'm kind of interested in hearing, why you chose to invest passively at first versus because a lot of people, they want to jump in, get hands on, they want to do it all themselves. Why did you choose to do the passive route first?
Yeah, it was. So when we were trying to flip on Long Island, we were just struggling big time. We weren't doing it right. We were trying to flip deals that were on the MLS, and you try to do that in New York and you're screwed from the beginning. But we didn't really know any better. My mom and cousin were fairly new. I was brand new. I literally knew nothing about real estate. So I didn't really know any better. And we were just hitting brick wall after brick wall. And we were just like, all right, what do we do? Started learning about out of state, and it was really more dictated by my mom and my cousin than me. I was just kind of still learning a ton at that point. They were like, let's try and find somebody we can work with, because we don't know what the hell we're doing. We're we'd rather give up profits. We'd rather, take somewhat of a back seat and just learn. So we actually did a hard money loan for a flipper, for a guy who did a flip in PA somewhere. I don't even remember. First got that money back, and then we invested it into the passive deal for the multifamily side. Because originally we were going to flip out of state, and then we were just forget it. We don't really like flipping. It was too transactional. We didn't really have ownership. My mom was close to retiring and wanted to help on the tax side. My cousin was a high income earner, needed help on the tax side. So multifamily made more sense.
Right.
And then we just said the same thing with the multifamily. We said, here's an opportunity to learn, why pay a coach $20,000, $30,000 when we can invest the same amount and probably learn a similar amount. And, good chance we'll actually make money. We'll probably at least get it back, right? Good shot, right? It'll take a lot to lose every single dollar. So, lucky for us, we just asked up front, we said, hey, if we do this, can we just pick your brain and get to know what's going on more? And he was like, sure. We didn't overstep. We weren't asking every little thing, but, every other week, talk 30 minutes, 60 minutes, grab coffee, whatever.
Yeah.
And then we just started asking him hey, can we help you with deals? Can we help raise money? Can we help run them? Help find deals? And he was like, sure. If you, come along, I'll cut you in on my side. And we'll make it work. So we did another 17 units there. It went fairly well at the start. Didn't end so great, but it was fine. And then we did a 82 unit down in Florida, and we were actually going to do another 86 unit. But we decided to walk on that property after we did our unit inspections, our due diligence, during the contract period. So.
I get it, man. That's awesome. I think one of the big things that you hit there is you guys understood yourself.
Yeah.
You understood that, look, this is what we're lacking, but this is where we want to be. Let's forget the fact that we try to make a bunch of money. Let's just figure out how we can get in the game.
Yeah.
And you freaking did that, man. That's awesome.
Well, that was the same thing I did with Toro. I was like, I'll just go, work for these guys and work my way up and just learn how to do the same thing, but on bigger properties. I was like, I'm going to learn way quicker from them and make way less mistakes than I would if I was trying to do it by myself. And I'll work on significantly larger projects. So, yeah.
I think David Lindahl once told me, no, all it is just more zeros and more commas,
Yeah, it really is. I mean, there's little nuances that are different, but the meat and potatoes of it is exactly the same, from a 10 unit, a 1 unit to, 100 units.
So the first, one of the first buildings was in Louisville, correct?
Covington, Kentucky. Yeah. So it's literally it's like the Brooklyn of Cincinnati.
Got it. Okay. So what was your primary role? Because I know you had your mom, your cousin, was the guys from Toro that were in the process of forming that. What was part of your role in that whole transaction?
Yeah. So earlier on, it was, help getting the deal set up. So helped raise some money, helped with a lot of the grunt work, basically, getting paperwork together, getting money together, closing on the property. And then just, doing little stuff. So, typically every 2 weeks on all our deals, we have calls with our property managers who are handling the day-to-day stuff. So we would be on those and taking notes. If we needed to do some extra work, we would do that. But yeah, I mean, it was really just getting the deal started. We helped find them a little bit, but it was, because we just bought one, they kind of came to us a little bit. And we just helped put the whole thing together and just take some off of John's plate, to kind of earn our keep, basically.
Yeah, right. That's freaking awesome, man. So were you nervous at all getting into 'cause I know you guys came from the fix and flip space, but going into the bigger deals, what were some of the fears that you were facing, or were you facing any at all, going into some of these bigger deals?
The biggest shock was these were all C-class apartments. So, 600 average rent. We bought that 8 unit for $300,000. And I mean, it was a big turnaround project. So we actually bought that 8 unit and that 17. We bought them all cash, renovated them all cash. We were going to try to burr them. So basically try to refi out all our capital. Right. We ended up not being able to do that just because of the lending options, but that's another story. But yeah, I mean, it was scary. The biggest shock was that you're just not coming from the flip world. You're taking something that's crap and making it beautiful, right? Granite, stainless steel, tile, the best fixtures. When you're in C, B class apartments, you're just making it clean, safe, and functional. And it's just not as nice. I mean, you can make them look nice and decent, but it's not a single family home. It's not like a flip. So that was the biggest thing for me. I was like, we're going to spend, $2,000 in a kitchen. We're going to get nothing. And I was like, no, you'll get, you'll be able to repaint the cabinets and resurface them, new countertops, new flooring, hardware, lights. And I'm like, what? Like that would cost us, $20,000 on Long Island. Like that's ridiculous. So that was the biggest difference for me. And it was like, is this really going to work out? Like, are we, it kind of felt like we weren't doing enough. But then you see the finished product come together. You see other properties in the area. So once you kind of go through that process once or twice, you really start to get a feel for it. It's still a little bit of a struggle not to over improve things.
Right.
But you get much better at it as you go on.
Yeah, man, I agree with that. So you said C-class markets. What exactly is that for anyone who doesn't know?
Yeah, people just rank areas. So instead of like as a grading system, basically A, B, C, D. D is like Ayumi said, or Mahir said, war zone type stuff. Just, you're not going to go at night. Just really low income areas. We basically avoid those. We don't do anything in them. Your C is your level above that. It's not the best area. It's not the worst area. Still working families. B is, step above that, fairly decent schools, fairly good area, a little bit better retail. And then your A is, obviously your top, and people throw in pluses and minuses too. So A plus, right. A minus, B, and it's a little bit relative to, like, it's so funny. Sometimes you see brand new constructed stuff and the brokers are like, it's A plus plus plus. And it's like, how many pluses are you going to add on? Like, how ridiculous are we going to get? So it's all subjective. Like, don't worry about it too much. Like, my C might be a little bit different to yours. A C in one market versus another market can be different. So it's not like a strict thing. It's just a relative subjective thing. I
get it, man. Yeah, that was an awesome way to explain it, especially with the broker example there. Seen that before for sure. So with these beginning properties, right? Were you guys also leasing these things out? Because I know you said you bought like an 8-unit for $300, and then you guys put in renovation money. Mm-hmm. Did you guys also lease it out, or did you sub that out to like an agent or a management? How did you guys handle that part of it?
So we had our property manager there who was also an owner, so he had a pretty good handle on things. Honestly, I don't remember if we had a general. Oh, no, we did have a general contractor because he ended up stealing money from us in one of them. So that's right. Yeah, we had a general contractor. He did really good on the 8-unit. We were really impressed. That deal was going so well. We were like, let's continue to buy in this area. And, similar of like, buying row houses and 3 units and 6 units and small apartment buildings. It felt like doing something we could do in New York, but just for pennies on the dollar, basically. And then we got to the second one, and he ended up, starting to mess things up, stole some money from us, stole some money from another project, and had to make do with that. So we stopped after that because our systems broke down. But the first one went well. The second one's still made money. We stayed in all cash for the whole time. We probably made 8% total in 2.5 years. So it's not great, right? You're averaging like 3% a year, which is, nobody wants to make 3% a year, but it's better than losing money. And it's definitely better than losing a property with a mortgage. So at the end of the day, it wasn't the worst thing in the world.
Yeah. I'm sure what you learned from that is like, you'll never make those mistakes again,
Yeah. I mean, you just, you try to watch contractors closer. It was tough too. Our property manager decided to run for mayor for the city. So he stopped paying as much attention, and we looked for other options, and it was really tough to find. So that's why we tend to stick with bigger projects. We also tend to stick with bigger cities too, because you have more property managers available to you.
100%. So did he win for mayor or no?
He did win. Yeah. That's why his time got cut down. So he was trying to do both, and, still did an okay job, but just wasn't what it was prior to.
Wow, man. Yeah, that's quite an experience. A lot of moving parts there, especially with the contractor, having to worry about him, and then knowing that he's taking money, as well as one of the partners involved, running for mayor. It's a lot to go through for sure.
Yeah. I mean, that's, the biggest thing being out of state is you put a lot of trust in other people. And like Ayumi said, it's very tough to get out there regularly and check on things, unless you're just willing to fly every couple weeks or drive every couple weeks, which isn't always possible, and I'm sure nobody wants to do. So having those people in place is great. Trusting them is, you have to, and just, you try to fact check them as much as you can.
Man, that's awesome. All right, so I'm going to do our second giveaway here. Okay, this is another free ticket for the New York City Expo that's coming up on February 20th. Okay, I'm going to give it away to the first person that comments the correct answer. Okay, so Chris said that he invests in a certain type of market class. So what was the letter of the market class that he invested in for one of his first properties? Put it in the comment section now. Let's see what you guys got. Question was market letter of the type of market that he invested in the beginning. Let's see. All right, they're flying in. Answers are flying in. Here we go. All right, Alexander was the first one. Alexander, class C market. Way to pay attention, brother. Good stuff. All right, Alexander, shoot me a message. I'll send you the link for the free expo ticket. Thank you guys for participating. Once again, if you guys get any value, make sure you hit like and share for us. All right, so we've covered quite in depth in terms of your guys' beginning stories. I want to kind of transition here over these next 30 minutes so we can finish off strong. But before we transition into kind of, where is the economy? What are you guys doing today to, structure and position yourselves correctly? And how are you guys finding deals? Before we get into all that, I want to hit on a quick war story. So if each one of you guys can just kind of tell me, like maybe either the craziest experience you've had, don't get super detailed, or don't get super long. Just try and keep it short and sweet. But give me like a war story, whether it was with contractors, maybe the wrong partner that you were working with, maybe you yourself did something wrong. Okay, because we got to be vulnerable, we got to be truthful, right? So give me a quick war story. Let's start with Mahir for this one.
Where can we go with this one?
Where couldn't you go is the better question.
So I'll go with the most recent battle I had. It's with a bad tenant. All right, so I take over this building the beginning of last year. I buy the property because the way I buy it is like if it needed renovations, I bought it in one LLC. When I refinance, I put it into Address LLC. Eventually, that portfolio of them, they go into a new LLC, right? So a lot of name changes. And so, all right, the tenant comes in, I hire a property management company, and he's refusing to deal with them. He said, I don't like the guy. I don't like his attitude. All right, so he starts dealing with me directly. 3 months in, he goes to jail. And, I'm calling him. He's not answering. A couple months goes by. He's like, all right, I guess I got to file eviction. It gets to like July, and he gets out of jail. And he's like, listen, I was in jail. I would have paid you the rent. What was I going to do? I was in jail. So I was like, all right, I'll work out a payment plan with you. He gave me like $2,000. He was $4,000 behind. I was like, all right, we'll do a payment plan for the rest. He paid 1 month of the payment plan, then he stopped paying again. All right, so we start the eviction again. We get to the sheriff, the lockout day, and they put the wrong address. So it's 30 and a half on the street. They put 30. So the sheriff's like, I can't lock him out. It's the wrong address. Got to start the eviction over again.
Jesus.
Now we go do the eviction over again. Gets into October. I switch companies. I switch law firms, right, to handle the eviction. All right, we get back to October. Work out a new payment plan. He's like, all right, I got like $4,000. Blah blah blah. He gives me the money. He's still not all the way caught up. He's really just paying for the months. He's still never really caught up from the first time, right? So he's still a couple $1,000s behind. Come up with a new payment plan. He defaults on the new payment plan. I start the eviction again. All right, we go to court. And like he just rattled so much information at the judge that the judge didn't know what to do. So he's like, let's just take a break. Right? My lawyer's like, is this guy serious? I'm like, I don't know. You're here all the time. Is he serious? So we take a break. We come back out. And he's like, you know what? He's like, I don't think we have enough information today to make a decision. We got to come back to court. It's the strangest thing. Okay, so we leave. We come back like a month later. Now we're into like January. Then we go back to court again. And he gets off on like a technicality that I accepted a payment, but it wasn't a full payment. So because I didn't accept a full payment, that means I broke the agreement. So then he gets out of it again. So I have to go to evict him again. All right. Now we're going to court again. I win this time. I'm going to lock him out. The coronavirus happens. So Now he's sitting in the house, and now I can't go to the house because this guy's going to kill me. And now he's busting things up, and he's making up stories, and he's calling the city on me, he's calling the fire department on me. So in like April, I'm like, listen, I text him, I said, here's your options. Let me fix what I need to fix. All right. That's option one, start paying rent. Option two is get out of the house. That's your options. And if you don't want to take any of those options, then don't call me until until the courts are open. I'll kick you out. Those are your options. So he's like, I'll take the money. If you want me to move out. I said, there's no money for you. So now we go through a negotiation. And like, I'm like, if anyone knows me, I thought this coronavirus is going to be over by now. I'm like, oh, by May, it's going to be over. Courts will be open. I'll kick this guy right out. I'll eat it another couple of months. What's the difference at this point? Then it just keeps extending and extending and extending. And I'm calling my lawyer. He's like, you'll be lucky if we're in court in November. So I had to pay the guy to leave. I paid him like $4,000 to leave.
Oh,
yeah. Now it's rented. I'm collecting normal rent again. But that guy he had all the tricks.
Wait, so this guy was like a professional tenant then, in a way?
Professional squatter. He's an all pro.
Oh my gosh.
Did you waive his balance too?
What was that?
Did you waive his balance, or is he still going to pay what he owes you?
I just waived it at this point. I was like, just get the hell out of the house. I don't know.
Man, so what was the time frame? How long did that whole process take from the time that you first rented it out to him to the time he officially left?
So I didn't rent it out to him. I bought the building and he was in there already.
Got it.
I didn't screen the tenant, and I probably lost $10,000 with that guy.
With that experience.
Yeah.
So I guess
the craziest thing was he was literally yelling at the judge, and the judge wasn't telling him to calm down. The judge would ask him a question. He'd be like, no, you answer my questions. And the judge was just like, okay. It was the craziest thing. So me and him are yelling at each other also in the courtroom. Me and him are yelling at each other because he's lying. He said that I'm lying. So me and him are yelling and screaming at each other. The judge is not doing anything. He's not controlling the court at all.
Oh, man.
It was crazy. It was the crazy experience.
Well, I'm glad you finally got him out. There was a lot of negotiations there for sure.
Yeah, he's a pro. He was all pro.
Well,
that poor new landlord, I feel bad for him.
Let me ask you, what do you think the biggest thing is you learned from that?
The biggest thing is don't take the payout. Don't take the money. The agreement, whatever the agreement is, you have to take it in full. So that means I have to turn off the my payment option online. And if they don't send me the full payment online, if they don't send me like a full money order, I mail a money order back and just continue with the eviction because I took a partial payment.
Right.
So he made the payment. Let's say he owed $1,050, right? He paid $1,000 on the 1st. He's technically not late until the 5th, after the 5th. But he must have known, he must have talked to somebody that counts as a partial payment, and that broke the agreement. So I'm thinking he's going to pay $1,000 now. It's $50. He's going to pay it after the weekend. No big deal. Never paid the $50, so I voided the agreement.
Well, thank you for sharing that lesson, Mahir. We appreciate you.
That was a fun one.
I'll just throw in real quick.
Go ahead, Chris.
The important point, I think, is know the local area because it's going to be so different from city to city, county, state. So like, know what it's going to be in your local area, and like just talk to your lawyers because they should know best if they know what they're doing. So
my lawyer said that he went against court like law. But he just didn't want to kick this guy out because he was so confused at the case as it was. So he just rather let it start over again, hope another judge got the case. It's good, right?
All right. Ayumi, you have a crazy story for us?
So I'm going to make it really short, and then I'm not going into too much detail. But I have an experience where a partnership went really wrong. And then I think it's not about, tenant management or anything, but I think it's important, especially if you go into like a bigger deal. And then long story short, I didn't lose my money. but I almost did. A lot of money that yeah, a lot of money. And then I know other people. Well, my friend actually went through. A lot of my friends have gone through like really similar things. And then what I learned was that it's really important to do the paperwork correctly, and then it's important to maybe sometimes get a third party opinion, and also trust your instincts sometimes, because if you see something wrong in a paper, in a contract or something, I was excited, and then thought that, oh, maybe it's fine, or maybe I just subconsciously ignored it because of excitement. But it was a red flag that I ignored. So I learned that it's very important to do the due diligence, not just on the deal, but people who you work with, whether it's partner or your property managers. And then these things can happen whether it's out of state or in your own backyard. So
that's an important rule for sure. Do your due diligence on everyone. Research their Facebook, Instagram, call their ex-wives, their ex-girlfriends, call everyone, and just gather information on them for sure. I appreciate you for sharing that, Ayumi. All right, Chris, you got a crazy story for us?
Yeah, so fairly recent. We bought a 320 unit deal down in Florida last year. When we put a property under contract, we do a ton of due diligence. So we walk every single unit. We inspect every single tenant for verification, creditworthiness, etc. We look at all the contracts. We have all different vendors come, so roofers, ACs, the whole nines. This property, though, had a termite bond on it. So basically, there's a company that you pay every month to basically say if there's any problems, we'll fix it for you. So we said, oh, there won't be any termite problems. We won't do a termite inspection, which costs you, a couple $1,000. And after we closed, we started getting calls about termite issues from tenants, here and there. So we started inspecting, we saw it, and we got the bond company to come out and inspect it. And they came back to us and said, oh yeah, this has been a problem for years. We told the old owner about it. They never fixed it. And we're like, what do you mean they never fixed it? You hold the bond. And they're like, well, these are X type of termites, which are different than your normal termites. They're not covered under the bond that you have. So we went back and checked the bond thing, and on like half of them, that specific termite or whatever it falled under was not checked, and it was something we didn't catch. So we went back to the owner and we were like, guys, what the hell is this? And they basically said like, hey, you guys bought it and we never got anything, and unless you can prove it, tough shit basically. And we were just like, okay, like what do we do? And this is taking a couple weeks to have these conversations. Then we started talking to our attorneys. But while this is all happening, this is 5 of the 9 buildings that we found evidence in. We're not moving people in as they move out because there's termites in them. So every week our occupancy is just trickling down slowly but surely. And it didn't seem like a big problem at first, but this process took several weeks. Eventually found out our attorneys didn't know the answer, so we had to get in touch with like termite specialist attorneys. Eventually got in touch with them. We couldn't get them on the phone right away. And we knew we had to fumigate the building. So basically you seal them, you pump them with chemicals, it kills what's ever in there. Right. But we didn't want to do it and hurt our ability to go after the owner or the bond company prematurely. So we were waiting. So we didn't want to act too early and then shoot ourselves in the foot if we had cause for a lawsuit. We also weren't sure exactly how much it was going to cost us at the time. So again, we dropped below 90%. We were getting into the 80s and just kept ticking down. Eventually they said, yeah, you guys can fumigate. It won't hurt your case and we'll start working on it. By that time, it was down at like 80%. The termite company that was going to do it could only do 1 building at a time, and they could only do 2 per week. So they would do one on Monday and then they would do one on Wednesday. So it took us 3 weeks to get them all done.
Wow.
And we had to put up everybody in hotels or give them rental credits. So long story short, it took us about 3 months for something we didn't budget for. It cost us about $130,000. It dropped our occupancy into the 70s. and it was something we may or may not have caught if we had just done that termite inspection. So we now do a termite inspection no matter what.
On every property.
Yes. Yes, it's worth it.
Absolutely. That's I think I've only had one termite experience, but definitely nothing as severe as 300 units for sure.
And the issue was too, because the reason we didn't see any termite damage while we were doing it is because this certain type of termite only comes out during summer months.
Oh,
so
wow.
they're only there 3 months out of the year.
Yeah.
So it was like we closed in like mid-April, and then they started popping up, and we're like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
Like, we walk every unit, typically termites will get into the subfloor. So if you feel a weakness on the second and third level in the floor, it could be water damage or it could be termites. So you get somebody in to inspect it. Didn't really feel too many issues with that until they started coming out of the woodworks, and it just got worse. So that was not a fun one to experience. Yeah. Luckily, the property was large enough to absorb an extra $100,000. This is a $5 million property. It's not the end of the world. We had a $2 million budget. So, is it good? No, but are we going to, lose everything? Of course, I don't think so. Or not from that, at least. But that was not a fun first couple months of ownership, or several months.
Yeah, man, that's those termites sound like cicadas. Those bugs that come around like every 5-10 years, something like that. Wow. Yeah,
it was interesting. And our manager is born and raised. So this is in Jacksonville, Florida. She's born and raised there. She's owned and managed properties there for like 20 years. She's never experienced these type of termites until this property. So it was like nobody even thought to check for them, let alone like have experience with them. So I don't know like if I went back, would I do anything differently? Knowing what I know now, of course.
Right.
But at the time, I don't think we necessarily made a bad decision. Like we did, because we didn't get a termite inspection, but we'd never experienced it. I still don't know anybody, when we asked about it, know anybody else that had experienced it either. So it was kind of like, fuck.
Well, listen, whenever you put out your book, I'm going to be the first one to read it. So let me know when that's published. All right.
You're going to be waiting a few years, if not several.
I'll be here, baby. I'll be here.
All right. Sounds good.
All right, guys. So let's transition here now. I got about another 20 minutes with you guys, and then we're going to open up for questions. So listen, I know a lot of you guys have questions. I have seen some of your questions already. Please use this comment section. If a question comes up, put it in the comment section. We're going to be pulling those up at the end. We'll do about 10 to 15 minutes of Q&A at the very end. So make sure you guys put your questions in the comment section. And once again, if you're getting any value, if you're enjoying this, make sure you hit the like and share button for us, please. All right, so let's go to Ayumi. Ayumi, COVID hit us a few months ago. I'm sure we all had, thoughts in terms of what was going to happen. And since then, the markets have seemed like they are, recovered back drastically, especially in the residential space. That's primarily where my experience lies. But what are you seeing right now in terms of, what types of properties are you trying to buy right now? How are you going to be finding these properties? And how are you going to be funding these properties as of today's landscape?
Okay, so although I have properties in Cleveland, I've been actually looking at some areas in Pennsylvania, specifically Lehigh Valley. So in the last couple of months, I have been actually sending a letter to homeowners who have big mortgages or leverage loans, thinking that, sometimes they have a hard time making the mortgage payment, and then they want to sell, but they can't sell the property because their mortgage is too big that they can't sell the property without losing money or bringing money to the table. So there's a strategy called Subject 2 that I recently learned, basically taking over the mortgage payment and then take the title of the property. So that's what I've been looking to do. And the market is actually hot and competitive, partly because I heard that people from, New York City or like Jersey are migrating to
moving out
those areas where properties are more affordable. So yeah, I thought that maybe, property values will go down, but I haven't seen it yet. So I don't know where it's gonna go. So we'll see.
You know, I agree with you. So for you, what you said is that you're trying to target people right now who may, in essence, be behind on payments, and
Mhm.
you're going to send a letter to them, and you know, when they call you, you're going to, in essence, ask them, hey, you know, can I take over your payments and help them that way? Is that correct?
That's correct. So yeah, for the financing that you ask, actually, the homeowners are the bank. Like it's a kind of seller financing.
Yeah, and if they have a mortgage on the property already, you definitely would be doing the subject to there. And so, in essence, can you structure subject to where there's like no down payment? Is that possible?
I think it's possible. I haven't done deal yet, but it's possible depending on their situation.
Yeah, it's definitely possible because Brent asked. He says, "When do you start buying? What? How do you basically buy with no money down?" And subject to is a great way to do that, especially if the seller is like doesn't need capital right now, because for whatever reason, maybe they just need to move or whatever, or if they need a few grand. You know, there's all sorts of ways to structure it. But subject to is definitely a sick strategy to look into, especially with people being behind on payments right now, because unemployment is still extremely high. And I don't think we've seen the side effects of COVID. I don't think we've even scratched the surface of what's going to happen. So you, Amy, you're primarily going to stay in Cleveland, Ohio. That's going to be your biscuits and gravy market, right?
Well, I'm not buying Cleveland at this moment. I'm kind of focusing on start buying Lehigh Valley, just because it's closer, so I can go see properties more often, where I can develop more experience, and maybe I can revisit Cleveland. But yeah.
Yeah, so you're going to be switching the market then. And so what are the numbers looking like? Like what kind of cash flow are you expecting to get in the Lehigh Valley area?
Yeah, so I'm expecting at least $200 per door, and my expectation was higher before because I was investing in C markets, but I noticed that it's more management intensive, and then I've heard about it before, but I didn't really understand until I actually experienced that. Like my tenants in Cleveland are not too crazy, but like they act up sometimes, and my property manager have a hard time handling that.
Right.
And we get what we pay for. So now I'm open to explore like the market, and then get a little less stress and take less profit. So that's what I'm looking to do, and that's why I adjusted my profit expectation a little lower.
I get it. Yeah, but I mean, your adjusted profit lower, but also the management is going to be lower, and the maintenance should be as well. Therefore, your time spent on it is also going to be a lot less.
Yeah, that's correct. And also, the profit might look good on the paper in the property, but like then actually, like there might be more expenses. And then my properties are pretty old in Cleveland, so like every month there's something, and then things happen, so that kill all the profits that I accumulate over the year. So I think that's something that I learned.
I love it. And so in Lehigh Valley, are you going to be primarily focused on doing subject to there? Like what other ways are you going to finance these things?
I'm open to different tools of strategy, but right now my focus is on subject to as well as seller financing.
I love it. Yeah, getting super creative with it all.
Yeah, to put less capital and take advantage of the leverage as much as I can.
Yeah, that's great, because I don't think a lot of people realize this, but Mihir and Chris, you guys will probably be able to hit on this, but like right now financing is still available, and I wasn't around in 2008 and 9 and 10, but a lot of the people I hang out with, they were around during that time, and they were like, financing wasn't as available in terms of lenders giving you money during that time frame. And so back then, like what Ayumi is talking about with the subject to and seller financing, that's all they used to do in the 08, 09, 010 arena. So it'll be definitely exciting to see how things play out over the next, few years. So Ayumi, last question for you. And if you had to make a prediction in terms of what's going to happen over the next year or so, or maybe even 2 years, what do you think is going to take place with the real estate markets?
That's a very difficult question. Like all the economists say the same thing, and all the banks predict differently. So, and we have elections this year. So I really don't know. I'm just gonna focus on something in the near future and how things are going and next couple of months, and then adjust based on what I see.
I love it. Well, thank you.
I wish I had a better answer for it. But.
No, that's good. Actually, your answer is very strategical. It's look, there's long-term stuff which we can guess at, or there's what we have today in front of us. And what you have in front of you right now is, a market that you want to invest in, which is Lehigh Valley, and you know that people are behind on payments. And so what you're going to do is you're going to start marketing to people who are behind on payments. And when these people call you, you're going to be offering, in essence, how to take over their payments, or if they don't have any debt on the property, you're going to be offering them to finance it. So I think your as of today strategy is actually a killer strategy, and I'm excited for you.
Oh, thank you.
All right, let's go to Chris, and we'll finish off with Mahir. So, Chris, and you guys have literally been ripping and running, especially over the past few years. What kind of, are you guys looking for just bigger and bigger assets? What's kind of the assets that you guys are after today?
Yeah, no, we've actually slightly scaled down. So in the past we were going, $20 million plus. Right now, in the past 18 months, we've been targeting like in and around $10 million, in and around 100 units.
Yeah.
Because as people start to get into the syndication world that we're in, right, raising money from investors for equity, people want to go bigger and bigger and bigger. And we were like, you're going to start competing against massive institutions who have hundreds of millions of dollars. And we're just like, we're never going to get the returns we're looking for, and it's just not worth our time. So we actually took a half step back, and our last like 5 or 6 deals were like right in and around $10 million, which we think is a really comfortable spot for us.
I love that. That's it's good because you guys are you have your path, and you're in essence going deeper versus going wider, right?
Yeah, we just said a little bit more transactions, a little bit smaller deal size, and you basically net the same kind of.
I love it. So when you guys are doing these, the apartment complexes that you guys are doing, are you guys primarily in just in like one neighborhood? Are you in a few different neighborhoods? Are you staying in like the same markets? Like, hey, it's like we're only going to invest in C markets, but we'll invest in a lot of different ones.
Yeah. So we have a funnel basically for deals, and gets more specific as we go. So we have certain cities, or they call them MSAs, which are metropolitan statistical areas. It's basically the city and the surrounding suburbs. We have certain cities that we target. So we look in Florida, Jacksonville, Orlando, Tampa, and Pensacola. And then in the Midwest, we look at Columbus, Ohio, Cincinnati, Ohio, Indianapolis, Louisville, and Nashville. That's it. We keep it fairly condensed into like clusters, because we don't want to get spread too far out. We have, I think, 14 properties that we currently own right now. We have 7 in Jacksonville, 3 in Ohio, 2 in the Carolinas, 1 in Alabama, 1 in Tennessee, and I might be missing 1 or 2.
Man, that's awesome. And so what kind of cash flow are you looking for then based off these buildings? And do these buildings need like a lot of work? Are you buying stuff that doesn't need much work?
So it depends. We actually go up and down the spectrum. So we buy really distressed stuff as well that doesn't really cash flow. So we've bought 2 deals that were 100% vacant, but they were existing, and they needed a ton of work. And we've also bought stuff that is, more stable cash flowing that just needs light work. So as people leave their units, we go in, fix them up, spend, $3,000, $5,000, $7,000, $8,000 to, fix up a lot of the, middle areas. So the kitchen, living room, bathrooms, and, raise rents. So it really depends. So those vacant deals, they very rarely cash flow, if ever. The reason being, by the time they start to cash flow anything significant, we are in a position to sell. And those are deals we're not looking to hold for the long term. They're deals we're looking to get in, fix the problem, get out, and we're looking for more of a pop. So you can almost think of it as like an extended flip. They just take longer, and then we have the option to refi and hold if we need to. So those, we tell people 2 to 5%. On paper, it'll show more. But like I said, if it starts cash flowing 7, 8, 9%, it's also ready to sell. So it is what it is. Our other stuff that's more stable, we're looking for 6, 7, 8%. And, we're looking to then make profit when we appreciate the building, when we go to sell it in, 5, 7, 10 years, whatever it is.
I think it's pretty interesting because it's like, you and your mom and your cousin, you guys got started off looking to flip, single family buildings. And then you're like, nah, no success with that. But let's just get into these big gut renovations where, it's 10, 20, 50 units. And you're like, let's renovate these and sell these. So definitely a completely different ballgame. But I'm curious because I don't quite understand why it wouldn't cash flow in terms of an apartment complex that you're buying and doing a gut renovation to. Because my thought process is that if you buy something like that and then you fix it up and you're able to refinance in a way, you're not going to have any maintenance issues and the management is also going to be low. So why is it that those things are better to sell versus keep over the long term?
So you 100% could refinance and keep it, and it would cash flow probably very well, probably much better than our other properties. However, we just have a lot of investors that are looking for more, a little bit riskier, but more higher return deals in a quicker time frame. So some people aren't comfortable giving us money for 7 years because you're basically giving up control of a deal. When you invest on your own, if you want to give somebody $4,000 and kick them out, you can do that. You invest with us. That's my decision. You don't have necessarily any control over that. There are provisions if we do, criminal acts or fraud acts, you can, kick us out legally. However, we control everything. So we have a plan before we go in, and a lot of our investors like the deals where we get in, fix the problem. And what happens is these deals would start to cash flow once you get up into the 90% occupied. However, once you get into that range, you're also able to now sell that deal, and you'll sell it within a few months. So it'll cash flow a little bit while you're getting up. So once you start hitting like 70, 80% occupied and people are paying for a few months, you'll now start to be cash flowing slightly. Typically we want to build up a little bit of a cash reserve if we don't have any already. Right. But we're going to already, once we hit 80, 85%, we're already talking to brokers about selling this thing because we're trending in the right direction. We want to get that ball rolling. The quicker we can get that property sold, the better return we'll make investors per year, and it allows them to get their money back, put it into something new. So there are tons of people that will buy those deals, refinance them, and hold them forever. Great strategy. However, for us, because we have sometimes 15, 30, 45 people in a deal, we just like to tell people, hey, we're going to be in this probably for 2 to 4 years. For better or for worse, we're going to be out at that time unless it's, we think we need to refinance and hold a little bit longer. But we're really looking for that pop on the back end. Our other deals that are more stable, we are going longer term. So it really just depends on investor appetite.
Yeah, so I think that's a huge gold nugget there. It's like you guys have a clear plan in place, and it's finding the right investors who understand that plan.
Yeah,
because it's like some investors want long-term stuff, and some investors just want a shorter-term play, and you guys offer both.
Yeah, I think when you have investors, you can't raise money without a plan. If people don't know what you're going to do, I would be shocked if anybody's going to give you money unless it's your Uncle Rich or something, and then maybe he takes a flyer on you, right? But you should also have a plan for yourself. You should know exactly what you plan on doing and what you think you can do with it. And you should then also have contingencies in place. So like I said, even though we plan to sell it in 3 years, we're not selling anything right now. Luckily, we don't have any loans that are coming due right now. But if we did, we would be refinancing and holding. So you have to, have multiple exit strategies in place. You also have the flexibility to change what you're doing to the property as it goes. I mean, there's very rarely a deal that we buy and the plan we have on paper, it goes 100% according to that plan. I would say almost never. So you have to have the flexibility to change too. But if you don't have that plan going in, you're setting yourself up to fail.
That makes so much sense. And so, Chris, I'm interested because it's like I remember when you said you first got started, you were doing a lot of the office work, a lot of the grunt work. But like, how has your role evolved to kind of what you do today?
Yeah, I basically just run the Florida region of our portfolio. So everything, from A to Z, they just kind of look over my shoulder to make sure things are going well. Once in a while I need to get their approval. for things, or if things drastically change. I mean, we're in constant communication anyway, so it's not like hey, I need you to stamp this that I can go do it. It's like we're collaborating back and forth. But that's my main focus, is the stuff down in Florida. But I chip in with everything else.
No, that's good. It's you're like very focused with it, which focused work is the best work,
For sure.
When you guys, because I remember you said when the properties are about 90% occupied, it's actually a good time to sell it. So who would be buying these properties from you, and why is it that the 90% mark is like the good time to kind of cash out?
Yeah. So in the multifamily world, there's agency loans, which are Fannie and Freddie. And the rule of thumb is 90 for 90. So it needs to be 90% occupied for 90 days, and it'll qualify for an agency loan. Those are kind of like the bread and butter, or they were pre-COVID. We'll see what happens afterwards. That a lot of people wanted. It's fixed rate. It's backed by the government. They're long-term, very competitive. It's really tough to beat that product. So a lot of people look for that. And typically too, what we do when we are buying that property, and it's, the gut renovated ones, we fix very nice, but sometimes we buy properties that are 50% occupied, 60% occupied. And even on our stable stuff, very rarely do we renovate the property to its max potential, because we like to sell it with meat on the bones to have a bigger buyer pool. It helps keep your cap rate lower. So it keeps your valuation higher. It gives people more incentive to buy it. And it's just what a lot of people look for. So we don't try to necessarily maximize all the value out of the box, and we let other people do some work to it too. So it really gives a product that people, especially in the past, were looking to invest in. And I think, in COVID and after COVID, we'll continue to look for as well. So it allows us to feel comfortable that we have a buyer when we go to sell.
That makes a lot of sense, because it's like, I know a lot of people want to get into making things look the absolute best possible, but if you're doing that, you're also definitely decreasing the buyer pool. And I think you would agree that it's more important to have a lot of buyers versus like one or two, right?
Yeah. I mean, having more buyers is going to create a more competitive bidding process if that's the route you go. Having more buyers reduces a lot of your risk when you go to sell.
Right.
One of the reasons we look at larger markets too, because more people are looking to buy. One of the problems we had in Covington was not as many people were looking to buy there. So you only have so many people you can sell to. If one or two of those or a few of those back out, now you are reducing your buyer pool by a much larger percentage.
Yeah.
It's an additional risk you have to factor into it. So for us, it's just, we're all about minimizing risk, maximizing reward in a realistic way. And we just think it really helps reduce some of that risk.
That makes so much sense, man. So what's your counterintuitive, half crazy prediction over, how the markets will pan out over the next 6 months to a year, maybe 2 years?
Yeah, I think I would be very shocked if they don't implement a new CARES Act, whatever they're calling it. It's like the HEALS Act or the Health Act or whatever it is. I got to imagine they're going to put something in place in the next month. So people will be getting some more stimulus money. People will be getting some more unemployment checks. What exactly that looks like, I don't know. So right now, the multifamily space is propped up on government subsidies. Most people are getting paid. We're not really getting killed on rents. Most people are paying. And most of our stuff is market rate stuff. We have very few voucher tenants or Section 8 tenants. So, we're still doing fine for the most part, slightly worse than pre-COVID, but not a whole lot. So what I think will be very interesting, and I don't have a prediction, is I believe government-backed single-family loans, the forbearance period ends this month at the end of August. And I've seen statistics saying that upwards of like 1/3 of people have not been paying their mortgage. Now, a large percentage of those are definitely going to be people that just said, I don't have to pay, I'm not going to. But it'll be very curious to see how many people now that have to pay can't pay. So that will be incredibly interesting to see how that plays out. And, we'll see what happens after the election, right? People are trying to get elected right now, so they're pumping money into the system. We've already seen I don't want to get political, but the Republican side kind of beat down on the money they're trying to pump in. I wouldn't be shocked if this is the last stimulus they pump into it. So I could see, things being okay for the rest of this year, and then next year things potentially going for the worse. So a lot's going to be around vaccine or herd immunity or opening things up, and if people go back to jobs, because jobs is the lifeblood of rental properties, multifamily, whatever you have it. And if there's jobs and people can pay, great. If there's no jobs and people can't pay, that's when we get in trouble. So that's going to dictate a lot. I think there'll probably be a brief period of some pain, and then I think things will come back in the second half of next year to an acceptable level. So that's my rough prediction. That's as far as I'm willing to go right now.
Yeah, that's I like it. We'll definitely we'll have to bring you back on in 6 months and see where things are then,
Well, I was already wrong, like here, I thought this was going to be over in, a month or two, back in March, and now we're 5 months in, I'm been home. I finally bit the bullet and bought a new home setup, so I knew, I wasn't just working from a laptop.
Right.
Because I think it'll probably be, another 12 months potentially.
Yeah, man. Adjusting to the times. I love it. Well, thank you for that prediction, Chris.
You got it.
All right. Mahir, what is it that you're kind of trying to specialize in now to the new landscape of how things are today when it comes to cash flow?
Yeah. I kind of took this time period to figure out what I could do better, right, and what I can try and better control. And there was a couple of things that I wanted to get figured out during this time, which was generating my own leads, right, controlling my own deal flow. That's a big one, and that's basically starting to finally hit fruition in the next week or two. Start generating my own leads and start underwriting my own deals and have that access, right? Because in March, once they did the shutdown, access to properties was limited. Wholesalers, inventory was limited. The financing was gone. So now only cash guys were buying deals, and anyone who was relying on hard money, there wasn't really that option. And the other thing I wanted to adjust for is hard money. So even though it bounced back, it's not really as it was before Corona, but it's definitely opened my eyes that I need to have still need to have another option. I can't only rely on hard money. And we were talking before we got started on this one, right? Potentially I have commitments at $800,000 right now, just in a couple of conversations I had today. Got a couple of conversations coming over the next couple of days, hoping to get to 1.3, 1.5 million, and targeting undervalued cash flow deals. 3 and 4 families that they have equity. It's just a matter of the tired owner wanting to get out of the place. And we have some of those deals lined up. We have 3 or 4 of those types of properties lined up. It's just a matter of now I want to buy cash so I can portfolio loan it and refi out, because that portfolio product is still available from the guys that I've been speaking to. And that's the strategy right now. It's kind of to take a little more control of what's happening and not only relying on outside realtors or wholesales to get me deals, and not also relying on only the lenders to feed me those hard money deals and those long-term financing deals, like investor type loans. Because if something happens again, you never know, second wave or whatever, they shut down again, at least I have another way to purchase deals. I have another way to source my own deals.
I like that, man. That's definitely bringing things in house, so you have more control of things. That's awesome.
Yep.
So for you right now, with the 3 and 4 family focus in areas like New Jersey, like Newark, right?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of cash flow are you expecting from these properties today? Are you expecting kind of the same numbers? Talking about some of the numbers that you're going to be anticipating.
Yeah, so that means if they're going to be turnkey type deals, that means I got to be buying around 280 for a 3 family, about 280 to 300, give or take. Cash flow's got to be around 4,000 to 4,500 for the deals to make sense.
And that's gross, right? With the whole building.
Gross, yeah, 4,000 to 4,500.
Okay, yeah, those are pretty solid returns, because if you're buying around 300 and it's rent for 4, you're way above the 1% rule for sure.
Yeah, and generally then the 3 and 4 families are worth around 360 to 390, right? Depending
on the low end.
Yeah, so it depends on which side. Usually, I'm on the low end where my houses are. So yeah. So I'm picking up equity that keeps the investor happy, knowing that there's something there, and then the cash flow is going to be there.
No, that's great. And so I'm sure some people on here are wondering, I heard you say that, you have a commitment of around like 800,000, and over the next few weeks, you're going to try and get together a collective of 1.5 million. And then you mentioned that, you just have just a few appointments. So it sounds like you're talking to some people, who have some money together. So would you mind sharing like, how you are kind of meeting these people? And in addition to that, how you're kind of structuring the conversation in a way where people are wanting to, just give you their capital because they know that you can produce with it?
I think it starts with action. I think that's the first thing. I didn't start out with a lot of money. I started with when I left the hedge fund to start my own business. It was me and 8 friends who put $5,000 in each to start the business. Because I was an intern, I was making no money. All right. Just took the 45,000, turned it to 63,000. I said, all right, now I know what I'm doing. Took the 2 serious guys, and in the note business, it's all about raising money. There's no lending on distressed mortgages, so the only way to make it was to raise money. The way I did it in that business is I took the competitiveness out of the business, which just sounds weird, right? But like, let's say it's us 4, and we're bidding on a tape. All right. Me, you, all of us were bidding each other up. 18 cents, 20 cents, 25 cents, all of a sudden we're at 30 cents, right?
$5.
$5. What I would do is instead I say, hey, listen, I know the big pool's coming out. And I call all of us and say, why don't we put our money together, right? Instead of us having, let's say, $1 million each to bid against each other, now we got $4 million as one entity. And now we go out those people, instead of them getting us to bid from 18 cents to 30 cents, I get them to come from 18 cents to 12 cents. Everybody wins. Split up the assets. Everyone can do whatever they wanted to do. So that was the thing. That was why I was able to raise as much money as I raised in the note space. Now, the thing that I liked about the real estate space is that there was lenders. You didn't have to go look for people and have dinners with people and meet them and talk to them about what you do. And the program, their hands are up. That's what they do. They lend money for their business, right? So I got used to that. I got a little spoiled. I built a good relationship with these lenders, and I got spoiled. So I was like, why would I ever raise money again? But I started raising money again when I was doing my Philly projects because the deals were too small that the lenders didn't like lending on. So I had to start getting that. I had to start working out that muscle again of talking to people.
Right.
And the people that you're talking to are generally, they're more mature people, they're older people, and they're not looking to be active in the space. So I didn't raise a lot of money by going to the events necessarily. I met a lot of people through dinner parties, through family events or whatever, and you meet friends of friends who hear about what you do. They see the Facebook Lives that I do. They see the Instagram posts that I do. Oh, what are you doing? What have you been up to? Now they see me and they see, all right, you're a young guy. You've probably done a deal, 2 deals. But then when I tell them, when they get into my knowledge and I break down the deals, and I break down the number of deals, now they get a little impressed. Maybe they tell a friend or whatever. And they're kind of watching you. And then at the right time, now is the right time, right? I'm managing properties for some people. I have my own about 60 units that I'm managing myself. Completed about 20 flips over the last 3 to 4 years. It's a good body of work now to say, all right, I'm going to set up the meeting, and this is what we're going to do, and this is why I can handle the money that you're going to give me, right? Because the one guy who lent us money in 2013 or 2014 on that building in Bayonne, he lent it to us because we were opening the pizzeria underneath, like on the first floor. He didn't lend it to us because because we were trustworthy guys. He figures, look, if they're gonna have a business there, they're not gonna go anywhere, right? Pizzeria flipped. I hated that thing. That was a bust. But I still had the property, and we never missed a payment with that guy. So years later, he's lent us money on a couple of other deals at very high rates. It's been coming down steadily though. And now it's time to strike, where I'm trying to raise money, and he knows that I've never missed a payment, And now I have this big experience of amount of deals that I've done. So we set up a meeting. He's willing to put 300 in. A friend heard the conversation. One of his friends heard the conversation, so I'm willing to put 500. Another friend of his now wants to meet with us next week because they see what we're doing and they see that we have equity in our deals. Our deals are cash flowing, and we don't miss our payments.
That's awesome, man. Definitely having the track record, surely helps with putting.
Document it. Yeah, you got to keep track of this stuff. What you spent on renovation, what you purchased it for, what did it appraise for, what did you sell it for, what's the cash flow coming in. That all helps. It's annoying to put together, but it all helps when you're showing somebody what you've been doing over the last few years.
All right, so we're going to do our third and final giveaway. I have one final question to ask Mahir, and then we're going to get to your guys' questions. So please make sure you guys are putting your questions in the comment section so we can pull those up. But here's our third and final giveaway of the night, okay? Mahir is actually doing this giveaway. He's offered to give away 15 minutes of his time to hop on a coaching session with one of you guys so you guys can pick his brain. What happened?
I said, I like how he pumps it up.
Yeah, absolutely, baby. Come on. So he can give away 15 minutes of his time. He'll be answering any questions that you guys have. You can pick his brain. If you have any strategic questions, he'd love to dive in deep with you guys. So Mahir's giving away 15 minutes of his time, okay? Now, here's how you can win this giveaway with Mahir. One, you got to hit the share button right now. Let me see you hit the share button. Hit the share button and answer this question, okay? So the question is going to be, how many units is Mahir focusing on over the next, 6 months to a year? How many units is Mahir focusing on?
Did I say a number?
6 months to a year. You did say a number. You don't remember the number you said?
I don't remember, no.
It was at the very beginning, so I want to see who was paying attention here. So put that in the comment section. Now, Mahir, while these answers are coming in, I'm going to ask my last question for you. What's kind of your prediction? What are you anticipating over the next year? What are you expecting to happen in the real estate markets if you were to make a prediction?
Yeah, it's very dependent on the election to me. I think, like Chris was saying, I think they're going to come up with another package to help everybody, workers and homeowners and schools and all this other stuff, which is definitely going to help. So one thing that everyone wants to compare this to 2008, the thing that was different between this and 2008 is that the mortgage companies had options to do forbearances, to do modifications, where they didn't have those options in 2008. They literally had nothing, right? They were figuring it out on the fly, and that's why everyone had to get bailed out because they didn't know what the hell they were doing. So the difference between 2008 and now, 2020, is that the mortgage companies were actually prepared. In case something happens, these are the action steps, and it was implemented very fast. I can tell you from my house, right? It's just me and my mom here. They mailed us a letter right away, said 3 months deferral. It's going to go on the back of the loan. Don't worry about it. Instantly, right? My mortgage companies, all I had to do was apply for forbearances. They gave it to me instantly for my Philadelphia properties. My New Jersey ones, they weren't having it. I was trying to just save the money for a few months, but they weren't having it. But they were prepared, and now coming out of it, they have real options, right? You do payment plans, you can go into another forbearance, you can do modifications if the investor of that loan will allow it. So I do think that there's going to be defaults. Of course, I think it's going to be more on the investor side, like someone in the 1 to 4 family like me. That's where the opportunities are going to come, because not everyone has a cash reserve. For me, in my properties, I'm putting $5,000 aside for every property for something that happens, because you don't a roof could leak, right? And you might need to call new roof in Philly is going to cost you $5,000. Something happens in Jersey, a water heater goes, that's going to cost you $1,000 unexpected expense. So I bank $5,000 per property, and then I build up a reserve. Like every month, I'm building a reserve into it too. So, but a lot of people don't do that. Not everyone has a savings. Just like regular people, most people don't have a savings. Same in business. So I think that there will be opportunity to strike on people like me, and it'll be early next year. But I don't think there's going to be a huge downturn unless presidents change hands.
Ooh, so Trump. I don't want to get into politics. I'm not bringing that up.
I don't want to get into politics, but one person is a real estate guy, one person is not a real estate guy or business guy, and I do think that has an effect on what's going on.
Well, we're gonna leave that right there. We'll have a further discussion later on about that. But so for Mihir, your big thing is that there's going to be investors that are going to be hurt because tenants aren't paying, and Chris even hit on that too. If people aren't paying, then in essence we're all going to be hurt, and we're all going to have to make major adjustments and figure out the new creative ways to adapt to kind of what's to come. But both you guys, Chris and Mihir and Ayumi, you didn't hit on this as deeply, but I think you do agree with it. Is that there's going to be a slight dip, but it's not going to be a huge crash like the 08, 09, 010. At least that's not what we're anticipating. Would you guys agree with that?
Yeah.
Mihir and Chris?
I think largely depends on the lockdown. Like Mihir said, if they double down and they really lock things down again and there's no extra money, then you could see more hurt. But right now, I don't see that being very likely.
Yeah.
That's very true.
There, we're probably 60, 70% open.
Right.
If New York and California open, that's really the key to everything.
I like it. All right, so Tommy, so you guys are gonna kick my butt. I didn't ask the question good enough. This is like my second giveaway I've only done in my life, so I'm still new at the giveaways. But the specific question was what asset class is Mihir focused on, which was 3 to 4 unit deals. I didn't ask it very clear. That's my bad. But Tommy did answer it. So Tommy, you won the free giveaway, the free 15 minutes with Mihir. Shoot me a message on Facebook. I'm going to set you up with Mihir so you guys can schedule that. And you guys are going to kill it and have a blast with it. So Tommy, you won that giveaway. Shoot me a message and I'll send you the details for that. All right, guys. So we've concluded the event, but I want to get into Q&A. So whatever questions that you guys have over cash flow or any questions specifically, put them in the comment section now so we can get these answered. We have a lot of questions here. So let me get the first ones rolling. All right, here we go. So Alexander asked, are there still properties to make money in New York City without investing $500,000? So the better question is, how much money do you need to invest in New York City if you were? And do you guys think it's a good market to invest in? We'll start with Ayumi. Ayumi, we'll go with you first. Or anyone who wants to tackle it first, go ahead.
I think, I don't really know prices in New York City. The only thing that I'll say to it is I don't know if I'll ever own a rental property in New York State. The landlord-tenant laws are the worst, if not one of the worst.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And because I have the experience in other areas, I don't think I'll ever own a rental property here.
Thank you, Chris.
Chris is 100% right.
All right, someone here, nothing to add? You agree with that?
No.
Ayumi, anything to add?
When you're New York real estate, you're not. It's a different play. It's an appreciation play because you know that you have no rights basically as an owner. It's crazy.
All right, Stephanie says, can you share the name of the hard money lenders that you work with? Chris, you guys are just using cash. You guys are raising cash and buying, so you're not using hard money.
Yeah, I do have. There's a company called Lima One Capital who I know does some multifamily and some smaller single family stuff.
Yeah, we know Lima.
Yeah, that's the only one I know of. We actually used them for a small multifamily deal. They were pretty decent to work with at the time.
That's good to hear. So there's Lima One. Ayumi, are you using any hard money lenders? Nope. Okay, because you did conventional for the first one, and now you're putting together some private as well as conventional again, right?
Yes, conventional, and then I did like both strategy that Chris mentioned. So yeah, I use conventional.
Here, who are you using for hard money?
You got a lot of guys you can use. You can use ABL. You can use leverage. You can use.
What is ABL? What is leverage? You got to give me the tactical names, my man.
I got to give you the asset-based lending out of Hoboken. Residential Capital Partners out of Texas. You got leverage companies out of Newark. You got Alpha. You got Alpha Funding. You have there's so many guys. It's so many guys. They're all just going to NJ RIA and New York RIA. They're all posting there. Well, they comment there. Everyone's pretty active.
I was gonna say because I saw someone write a comment. You network enough, you'll find people. So just start talking to people. Tell people you're looking for hard money. Honestly, you'll probably have a harder time keeping them away than finding them. So
there's a lot of people.
Earlier, someone asked about, do you need a down payment for subject to? And I know, Joey, you have a lot of experience with subject to. Like Joey's telling you right now, he's bought subject twos with 0 down payment. He's done $5K down payment, and he's even done up to 15 down payment. So have any of you guys done subject to, like have experience with it?
No.
Nope.
All right. So Paul, I'm not going to be able to
actually didn't even know that was a thing until like 7 months ago.
Oh, well, I'm sure you're going to get something.
I've heard of it, but like I never even, yeah,
you guys haven't done it yet. No big, you guys got plenty of other stuff going on. So Paul, in regards to your subject to question, how do you convince a seller you will make their payment? So first thing
for me on subject to, right?
Right.
All right, they're giving you the deed. Then how do you secure them? How does both people get secured is the part that I don't understand.
There's just going to be an agreement with the servicer, I would imagine.
Well, I'm not experienced with it either. One thing I will say, Paul, in regards to your thing, we are not in the business of convincing anybody to do anything. We add value and we provide solutions. So the question at the end of the day is not, you don't convince them. It's a simple ask is, hey, would you like me to help you take over your payments? Or would you like me to assist you with your payments? It's a simple ask, but I have no experience with subject to, so not. Go ahead, Ayumi. Yep.
And also, so yeah, we are after people who need to sell. So they, a lot of times I can't help people who don't have to sell and who can put the property on market for a long time and get the top dollar. But like some people need to sell, and that's where it works out well.
Got it. All right. So Alexander asked, are there any deals left in New York City for beginners, and what kind of strategies? So Mahir kind of already hit on that. It's more of an appreciation play, but is there anything else you guys would want to add in regards to, are there any deals in New York City? And if there aren't right now, do you guys think that there's going to be a huge amount of deals that come up in New York, especially in cities like Manhattan?
Everybody I know that basically could have, afford to leave New York City that live there is gone right now. For the most part, 80% plus, so many people left. So I know the delinquency rates in New York City are much higher than the rest of the country. If that lasts for a long time, there'll be foreclosures. You might have some short sales, you might have some REOs, you might have some distressed stuff. You might be able to buy stuff for cheaper cost bases, but with non-paying tenants. So I know someone mentioned something before about not being able to get someone out for a year. If you want to take that on to buy something for, 70% of value, and that's something you want to deal with and that headache, you could do that. So New York's getting hit harder than a lot of other areas right now.
That's very true.
Don't be in a bubble just because you live in New York. Understand that there are other places that you can put your money to work and do a lot more with. A lot more.
Yeah.
The landlord-tenant laws are different everywhere. If you want to flip properties, there's other places to make money besides right where you live, right? Like my brother, he's like, I only want to invest in the South Shore of Staten Island. It's like the South Shore of Staten Island is like only builders buy here. They're buying houses overvalued because they can build it, knock it down, build like some mansion or something. Like he only wants to buy in the South Shore. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You're not a millionaire, whatever, to be able to play in this market. You got to understand what you are. If you got a couple $100,000, or if you have less than $100,000 to play with, and you think that you're going to buy an apartment building in Brooklyn and you're going to make it rich or something, like just think about the smarter ways to put that money to work. There's so many other places. I won a house on auction in Georgia for $135,000. The house is worth $210,000. It's the easiest money I ever made. Like, why are we so stuck on we have to invest right where we live? You don't have to do that. Look what we're doing right now. Use technology.
Yeah, and all you guys are from New York, and all of you guys, in essence, invest out of state because you guys do deals outside of New York in a way, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do want to say though, just like I only do out of state, but like just to go the other way sometimes, like it's not for everybody. So there's some people that need to like see it, feel it, touch it all the time. And if that's you and it's like, it's going to push way outside your comfort zone, there is something to be said for that. But don't not do it just because it's a little unknown or a little fearful. Like there's so many people doing it. You can learn it. You can have systems in place. You can rely on other people. But if you're like, no, I need to see this all the time. I need like, you're just that hands-on type of person, you know, just understand who you are basically.
That's such a good point. It's really understanding who yourself and what you're comfortable with, especially getting started. Right, Chris?
Yeah.
If you need to drive past the house in order for it to be real, then this ain't the business for you. You're not going to grow for sure. If you want a trophy house, you could buy your one trophy house, but you're not a real estate investor. You're just the guy who owns a house.
We about to add something, Chris?
No, I just said agreed. I don't think everybody is going to be a real estate investor, though. There's plenty of people that, you know, 1 or 2 houses, they do well, you know, just supplement income. So, no, I agree. If you're like, you want to scale up, you want to go big, New York's going to be tough. But if you're just like, hey, I just want to, you know, a few things on the side, make some money, do all right, again, it just comes back to what I think you're looking for.
I love it. All right. Regan says 15 minutes with Mahir. He missed out.
No, Regan, you should block this kid, Regan.
No, he's a good kid. All right. So Regan says, what's the best real estate book that you guys have read or podcast you guys have listened to? Wait, Chris, don't you have your own podcast or you're doing your own webinars right now?
Yeah, we have a podcast. It's called The Real Estate Investing Experience.
Boom. So make sure you guys subscribe to that. But I mean, if you want to plug your own, feel free. But what's the best book or, you know, best podcast you guys would recommend to anyone out there?
Yeah, so I'll go quick. The best, if you're interested in what like we do for syndication, Joe Fairless has an awesome book. It's not super cheap. It's like $40-$50, but it's called The Best Ever Syndication Book, I believe. It is like the playbook for what we do. It breaks it down really well. Wow. It's not a hard read. It's like, it just really breaks it down really well for anybody. So if you're like, hey, syndication sounds cool, something I want to learn more about, it's a really good book. Not super cheap, but you know, it's worth the money if you're seriously considering going into it.
And what's the book called?
Don't quote me on this, but it's like The Best Ever Syndication Book or something like that. I'll Google it quick for you.
Oh, we appreciate that because I'm going to quote you on that. I'm just kidding. Okay. Best Ever Syndication Book. All right, Mahir, any books or podcasts you'd recommend?
Yes, 2. Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Boom.
It's a really good one. Not just for real estate, but just the way that you see money and the way that you use your time and everything like that. And the Banker's Code, right? Mm-hmm. Just understanding the arbitrage of and taking that arbitrage. And that when I read that one in like 2014, I think 2013. There she goes.
Hey,
Banker's Code is a good one.
All right, Ayumi, do you want to plug a book? You got a book, a podcast to recommend?
The Banker's Code.
So in addition to those 2 books, I like this negotiation book called Never Split the Difference.
To read that book.
Never Split the Difference. I love it. This is great to understand like human psychology and how to negotiate by leveraging that. So it's a great book, not just for real estate, but also for business.
Yes, I appreciate you for sharing that book. Definitely an awesome book. Chris, you get the name of the book? Is it called?
Yeah. Yep, that's it right there.
Joey put it on the comment for us. So that's the book that Chris recommended for syndications and anyone really wanting to get into a bigger apartments complexes like Chris. But you can also reach out to Chris too, because I mean he's a cool guy. He'd hop on the phone with you guys and definitely have a conversation. All right, guys.
Just to be clear though, it's not just you can do that for the same size stuff that Mahir's doing. You can do that as well, right? If you want to, if you have a few $100,000 instead of buying a couple properties, you want to buy, 10 or 20, you can just do the same exact thing. Just, it doesn't have to be a $20 million property. So I just want to make sure people understand that.
Yeah, man. Thank you for clarifying that. So guys, we've been on here for 2 hours. So I want to respect everyone's time. Everyone that commented and engaged, I appreciate you guys so much. I definitely want to make sure that you guys have time to, touch base with the speakers. And if you guys have any further questions for them, I want to make sure that you guys can get in contact with them. So what's kind of the best way for people to reach out to you, or if they want to stay up to date with what you guys are working on and what you guys are doing and all the creative things that you guys are active in. What would be the best way for people to get in touch with you guys? We'll go ahead and start off with Ayumi.
Email ayumi.edgar@hotmail.com.
Ayumi.edgar@hotmail.com.
So yeah, first name, the last name at hotmail.com.
All right. So if you can put that, can you put that in the comment section or no? All right, yeah, put that in the comment section.
No, I don't think it lets us.
Oh, it won't let you guys?
At least it doesn't let me.
Comments. Oh, comments maybe?
Yeah. All right, you guys
Uh,
back on the replay and put it in there as well too. So this way people can have access and see it physically. Because I can't spell. I'm really bad at spelling. All right, Mahir, what's the best way, other than the free 15-minute giveaway that you gave away already, what's the best way for people to keep up with you and get in touch with you?
Yeah, I don't give away my time too much, but if you find me on Facebook, I'm more likely to talk with you about different things on Messenger. So Facebook.
So slide in Mahir's DMs is what he's saying.
Exactly.
All right, Chris, what's the best way for people to get in touch with you?
Yeah. If you want to email me, they can, chris@tororep.com. So TOROREP.com. That's also our website if you ever want to check it out. I'm also pretty active on Instagram and LinkedIn. So it's at chris.grenzig, or LinkedIn is just Chris Grenzig. Again, we have the podcast. So if you want to go check that out, feel free.
Yeah, man, we definitely got to connect on IG. I'll send you a request as we get off here. But guys, girls, I appreciate you guys so much. It's been a lot of fun for me. Learned a lot of new information. And the energy tonight has just been absolutely outstanding. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will be back here within the next month or so, bringing you guys another webinar. But tonight was fun, and we will see you guys soon. So thank you, guys. Mahir, Ayumi, Chris, thank you for your time.
You got it.
thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, we're logging off. We'll see you guys in the near future. All right, and if you guys want anything, shoot me a message. I'll be sure to send it to you.
I think they dropped.
You guys talk to us about this bun before I hit the broadcast? Because I love the bun.
Oh, thank you for your amazing, like you are the great host. Right.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Ayumi.
Thank you.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys soon. Peace out.
Bye.